Hi everybody, Matthew Brandt, Tactical Retreat Unplugged. Thought I'd just take a few minutes. I'm downtown Tazewell right now, getting some miles in, so found a little quiet corner that I thought I would just take a few minutes and go over some of the equipment stuff that we were talking about. This is our third episode here on Tactical Retreat Unplugged on our YouTube channel, where we're talking about the Camino de Santiago, and this one's about equipment. We're getting very close for our own retreat that we're getting ready to do in June of 2025. And so I wanted to get a little bit of a inventory and some recommendations out to everybody and anybody else that is interested in walking the Camino. The Camino is a super significant event in your life. You spend a lot of money to get there. You spend a lot of money preparing. You spend a lot of money on equipment. And I don't mean to say that, the Camino is such an overwhelming financial burden, because it's really not. But as of anything, you're gonna get some new things. You're gonna get some new shoes and maybe a new backpack and some new socks. And anyway, plus you're gonna get there. It takes you a minute to get there. So I just want to cover a few of the basics here on equipment, and I'm going to start with shoes, because shoes are the most important thing in my opinion. Your shoes have to be comfortable. Your shoes have to be able to handle a variety of terrain, from concrete, asphalt, roadway, just like you're walking in a city sidewalk kind of scene, to gravel, slippery roads, trails with some inclines both up and down, and then water. Plan on water. So I finally moved to a Gore-Tex shoe, just simply because I wanted to have it for as much protection as I can from the water, whether it's just rain. Last time we ended up on the tail end of a hurricane coming through. We had 10 inches of rain the last day as we walked into Santiago. So nothing's going to help you when you have 10 inches of rain, I can tell you. But Gore-Tex shoes, in my opinion, are the way to go. I don't necessarily recommend like a hiking boot like you would think, maybe walking mountain trails and such. Simply just you're putting too many miles on day after day after day. It's tough on your feet, it's tough on your ankles, and they're heavy. So my recommendation is like a trail runner or a trail hiker or trail trainer. I wear Salomons. They work for me. They're an all-purpose. A lot of the military wears Salomons. A lot of special forces wear Salomons, and so they're tried and true. They're tested. But again, that's me. Look around, find what you want, find what you can afford. But if you're going to spend a little extra money, make it on shoes. Shoes are going to make or break your journey. I can tell you right now. You can do with a lot of things, and you can get rid of some things, but you have to have a good pair of shoes. And for me personally, I take one pair of shoes and then I take a couple replacement insoles. So as I walk or they get wet, I pull that insole out, I put a nice new dry pair in for the next day, and I'm off. I'm in a brand new pair of shoes. Another day or two later, the other one's dried out, swap them around, brand new pair of shoes again. And they're very light. An extra pair of insoles, easy to carry, easy to pack. So something to think about. Again, I would not go with hiking boots. Some people do, and if that's your thing, have at it. Just make sure whatever shoe you wear, you practice sufficiently with it beforehand. I'd say put at least 60 to 80 miles on them before you leave the United States or wherever you're coming from, before you get to Spain, because you need them well broken in. You need the heels broken in. You need your toes to find their place. If you can get something that's a little extra wider, a lot of people go with a half size bigger because your feet are going to swell. Remember, you're putting 10, 15, 18 miles a day in or more. Your feet are going to swell. You're a little older, like some of us. You're a little bigger, like some of us. Your feet are going to swell. So prepare for that. If you're wearing the same size shoe that you wore, in 8th grade, you might think about going up a half a size. Even though it might feel a little bit sloppy now as you're practicing and training, while you're on the Camino, it's going to fit just right. And again, I think I mentioned, I go with a Gore-Tex shoe just because of the water protection that it gives me. So, shoes, most importantly, comfort, proper size, well broken in, lightweight, and I recommend a Gore-Tex or some kind of waterproofing just to help. Next, I would go with talking about backpacks. Now, in my first Camino, I walked with I'm a big guy, I'm 6'4", 250. I walked, my other veteran friend of mine, we walked the Portuguese, so we walked up the coast and we carried packs that were about 22, 23 pounds. I think his was a little bit lighter, but they were just too big. We just brought too much. Everybody told us don't bring so much, but you think you need to do this like you're walking into the Oregon Trail and you're going to be gone for 6 months and not see a soul or not have the opportunity to, buy anything or stock up. So you think you got to bring it all with you. I'm here to tell you the recommendations that I heard years before walking the Camino, now it's true in my heart. If you think you need it, fine, bring one of them, maybe two. So I bring 3 pair of socks. I'm going to bring a pair of shorts, a pair of walking lightweight pants that I zip off the legs. So really I got 2 pair of shorts. One of them, they can serve as swimming trunks if I need them, if I want to dip in a creek. And then I have a pair of pants that I could wear in the evening to go out to dinner or something in the village. And then that's it as far as shorts, pants, socks, maybe 3 pair of underwear. You're going to wear one and maybe bring 2 or possibly 3, but plan on doing laundry every 3 days or so. Most places have laundry facilities, not all. Sometimes you're washing it by hand, hanging it on the line, but you do that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. By the time you go to bed, you take them off the line, they're dry, you're good to go. Couple shirts, 3 shirts maybe, one of them being long sleeve, but I would not take anything cotton. I would take only some kind of wicking or the dry fit kind of shirts. You just don't need or want anything else. Even if you're going out to dinner, when you're sitting in a small cafe or a bar or a small restaurant in any place, you're sitting with hundreds of other pilgrims, and you look around. First of all, they've taken their shoes off and they're wearing some kind of sandal. I didn't mention that in the shoe section, but you're going to want some kind of sandal or flip-flop or something to wear around in the evening, get your feet out of those shoes. So everybody is wearing flip-flops or some kind of sandal. I take a nice like a Tiva sandal, Velcro on, Velcro off. I can wear it in the shower if I need to, but it allows me to get around town and enjoy my evening while I wear a dry pair of shorts. I change shirts into a nice dry shirt, but they're all the same. They're all the wicking kind of shirts. I bring a ball cap and or a hat that has some sunshade. Especially if you're walking in the summer, you need to have some kind of sunshade for your eyes, sunglasses, potentially, but I would bring a hat, bring a scarf, something along those lines to give you some protection. And again, think about weight. Ounces are pounds, pounds are pain. So whatever it is you're taking, think 1, maybe 2 or 3, but that's it, whatever it is. If you need something, every 2 hours you're going to be walking through a village or something, maybe every 4 hours, but every day, 2 or 3 times a day, you're going to walk past a pharmacy, you're going to walk past restaurants, you're going to walk past cafes, you're going to walk past grocery stores, and if you need something, that's when you pick it up. As you're coming into town for your last mile or so, stop at the pharmacy and get a new blister kit if you need it, or some tape or some Band-Aids. Don't bring a bunch with you. You just don't need it. Spend the $5, get it while you're there, use it, and be done. Trekking poles. I'm a big believer in trekking poles. Again, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4". I like trekking poles. I bring them with me. Some people do, some people don't. They're the breakdown. They're telescopic. They're what I like. I'm used to them. And I just put them in my bag and check them, and I don't worry about it till I get there. Now, some people will leave those at home and just pick them up when they get to their initial stop in Spain, which is fine. That way you don't have to worry about anything on the airline. You don't have to check a bag if you don't want to check a bag. You can just pick those kind of things up when you get here. You're going to spend 40, 50, 60, 80 bucks for a pair of poles in the US. You know, they're not that much in Spain. So it's a little bit better deal. But, you know, don't, if you really like a pair that you have, figure out a way to get them there. But I like them because some of these trails that are at an incline, or especially going downhill, using the trekking poles takes about 20% of the weight off your shoulders and off your hip, and it transfers it to your arms and transfers it to those poles. So you think about taking 20% of the weight off of your body and off of your knees and your hips, off of your shoulders. That's significant over day after day after day. And also, it can really save your ankles. I tripped twice my first Camino. You get tired at the end of the day. You're going down some rocky trails. And I tripped, but I caught myself before my ankle fully went over and put me out of the game. If I would have fully put all of my weight on that ankle on each of those occasions, I would have either had to not complete my Camino, or I would have had to take 2 or 3 rest days, because you know, a severe sprained ankle, you're not walking 10 or 12 miles on a severe sprained ankle. So keep that in mind. I like them. I'm used to them now. But some people don't like having anything in their hands. My wife doesn't like carrying anything in her hands, water bottle, poles, anything. And so some people just have a preference, and that's fine. Again, my personal preference is to have trekking poles, and so try them out. You know, again, that's one of the things you try out before you leave the States, headed for your Camino. A couple months before, try them out for a week or two. You might like them, you might enjoy them, you might begin to rely on them. You might like the rhythm of them tinking along the trail. It does kind of become a kind of mesmerizing thing. So just something to think about. Try them out, and then you might say, you know what, they're not for me, I don't really need them, and that's great. So next I would talk a little bit about your pack. First of all, you've got to decide if you're going to carry everything from start to finish, which is, you know, you're going to hear things that's the only way real pilgrims do it, is to carry everything. That's the way they did it 1,400 years ago. They carried everything on their back. I carried everything on my back my first Camino, and it about killed me. We got to an albergue one night about 3/4 of the way through, and I saw a young lady who had this little small pack on, and I'm thinking, how on the earth does she put everything in that little pack for the Camino? Just thinking of all the clothes and the blister kits and the socks and the blah blah blah. And she goes, oh, I have my bag transported each night or each morning from the albergue to the next one. You know, so for like €8 a day, give or take, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 10, whatever. There are companies that will transport your bag. You put it in the lobby of your hotel or your albergue by 8 in the morning. You have it filled out. You have it arranged that whatever your next accommodations are going to be. And magically, between the time you leave and the time you show up at your next one, your bag's sitting in the lobby waiting for you. You take it up to your room, and all you're carrying is from the lobby to your room and from your room to the lobby. So that's my recommendation, especially for us older folks. I'm now headed to that older folks category, which is fine, but I'm still out there doing it, and so it just makes it easier. It makes your experience easier. So let's get back to, if you're going to carry a pack, they say no more than about 15% of your weight. Again, give or take. You need to try out what you're going to carry, what you're going to take, and then practice. I wear my pack every day while I'm practicing, even if it's just my little front carrier. I'm going to wear a hip belt this time with shoulder harness, just because I want to try something different. It seems to be already more comfortable and less bulky. I kind of forget that it's there, so I think it's going to work out great for me. But figure out what you're going to use. Get a good pack. If you're going to get a good pack, again, like shoes, probably one of the things you want to spend a little money on, to make sure you've got a good, rugged, durable, and get as lightweight as you can. You want to be able to reach things on your pack. You want to be able to get to your water bottle. When you take it off, you want to be able to have some kind of easy access to get to maybe your passport or a snack or whatever. Most of the things have some waste access, waste pouches that you can get to a protein bar or something if you need while you're walking. Those are kind of things you want to think about. I would say no more than about a 22 to 36 liter pack um, is all you need. Now 22 liter, that's pretty small. That's pretty much a day pack. If you're going to have a bigger pack that's transported every day, that's just enough for a water bottle, a couple snacks, maybe a dry pair of socks, a dry shirt, your poncho, your rain gear, whatever you might have. So if you're going to be having your bags transferred, obviously a much smaller pack, just really a good quality day pack, just for a couple of those basics that you might need to. Now, if you got some medical issues, if you're diabetic or something, you're certainly going to want to have some protein bars or some kind of snacks with you that can help you if you get in trouble, and a small blister kit, some tape, and some Compeed. Definitely go with the Compeed for your blister kits. So again, it's all about weight. Ounces are pounds and pounds are pain. Go as light as you can. If you think you really need it, you probably don't. Be honest with you, because you just don't really need very much while you're there. You're going to take your phone. You're going to take potentially an iPad, but even some people will say, don't even take your phone with you. Realistically, this is 2025. We're going to have our phones. We're going to want to take some pictures. We're going to want to at least have some kind of connection back home. Call it an emergency or call it a daily text back home to friends and family. The other thing that I wear is a front chest carrier, and it's just it's kind of like a military grade front chest carrier that's about that square. I put everything in there. I'll have my GoPro in there. I've got an attachment for my GoPro on top of it that I can mount to while I'm walking. But that's where I put my money, my credit card, my passport, my U.S. passport, and my Pilgrim passport. That's where I put my snack bar. So it's all right here, because you're going to be getting at some stuff all day long, every day, multiple times a day, and having it right here. That way, if I need to use the restroom, all I have to do is take off my hip belt. This stays on me all day until I basically get to my hotel or albergue at night. And even then, once I take a shower, I put it right back on. I go to dinner with it. It just is a way to keep things safe, secure. Nobody's going to pickpocket you. And so just think about that. Think about some kind of chest pack or just a shoulder sling that you can have easy access to, cash, credit card, passport, and keep them dry. Most importantly, you got to keep them dry. I put my passport and my Pilgrim passport in Ziploc baggies, just because I've learned that just taking it out for the 2 minutes while you're trying to get a stamp on it, trying to put it back, you do that 10 times, and pretty much your Pilgrim passport's going to turn into a big waterlogged book. So having them in a plastic bag where you can really keep them dry really makes a difference. So something to think about. Okay, so we've talked about shoes, most important. We've talked about backpack and whether you're going to consider carrying your own or you're going to use one of the transport companies. They're on the internet. Just Google it. There's many of them. Some of them work various different routes, but they're out there. I haven't had any trouble with any of them. I used Camino the first time. They were excellent. I was having trouble just trying to get on their app. It was just me. It wasn't anything that they had. But so I finally was just texting them, hey, I'm at this albergue. My bag needs to go to that albergue tomorrow. And then they'd send me a PayPal invoice. I'd send them €8. My bag would be there the next day. So they're very, that's just an example of they'll work with you. There's so many people out there using these different things. They want your business. So it's just easy. Anyway, I would highly recommend it. It's worth not carrying it every day. But again, the true Pilgrim experience in your mind might mean that you want to carry everything like the original Pilgrims did. God bless you. Hats off to you. I did it. I understand it. But I'm not going to do it again. So anyway, again, just I guess in reiterate, shoes, backpack, um, small emergency blister kit, but don't take very much. Buy the Compeed, which has the medicated blister packs, and then I use that stretchy tape like you get when you get, when I do a blood draw. I got a roll or two of that, just to help, secure my feet. If I start getting a blister, I use that. I really don't have any problems. So super lightweight. I don't take a ton of it. Just take a one roll. I can always buy some more if I need it there. The other thing is a good water bottle that you can easily access, whether you hang it or whether it's in your pack where you can get to it real quick. And then bring some electrolyte powders. That's one thing that I found to be very useful. There was some days last year, 2 years ago, walking the Portuguese, when we had 100-degree days, and we were drinking upwards to 200 plus ounces of water a day just because we were sweating so much. Water's just running through you. And so having the, electrolyte packets to add to my water bottle every time I filled it up saved me. I never had one cramp. I never had one issue with heat exhaustion or any kind of heat-related problems. Now I rested and I found some shade and I did all the things you're supposed to do from time to time. But drinking water with electrolytes in it, and again, you might find some sugar-free ones if you're diabetic. You might find some low-salt one, whatever it is that you might like or want in your electrolyte package. And then again, I would bring, maybe 10 or 15 because you can get, they're not very big. They're only that big and that big around. So 10 or 15 of those, 1 or 2 a day, easy. And again, when you run out, guess what? They got electrolyte packets in Spain too. So find yourself a pharmacy or a grocery store and pick up a few more. So trekking poles, talked a little bit about trekking poles. And then everything that I've talked about today, I just want you to remember to practice with it all. Practice. It seems silly to go walk the city park with a big backpack on you might have have a pair of boots or something in there to give yourself a little weight. But the more you can become used to having weight on your shoulders every day, day after day, using your trekking poles, breaking in your shoes, all those kind of things. Again, might look silly walking through Central Park in New York City with all this, but when you get out on the Camino, you're going to be so happy that you took the time to practice with everything, because you're going to figure out that, man, this backpack, I've been wearing it a month and it's just rubbing me weird, or I just can't get it right. Try a few things and this backpack's not for me. And so find one that is. Gives you some time to do it. What you don't want to do is you don't want to get to Spain in the middle of the Camino and find one of your pieces of equipment is either defective, hurts, rubs you the wrong way, literally, gives you blisters. Then it becomes a liability to you, and then you become a liability to the group and a liability to the Camino. So take care of yourself, practice with everything. By the time you go, you really should be fine-tuned. Should be things you've used and worn, even the type of clothes you're wearing. All of that should be practiced with, so it's easy and comfortable and easy to clean, easy to wash, easy to dry, and at the end of the day, you're going to be thankful that you tried it all out. The big no-nos, I would say, I wouldn't take a pair of jeans, Levi's, or anything cotton. I wouldn't take a cotton shirt. I would take some kind of evening, maybe a light fleece that you could have in your bag. Just because in the evening sometimes it will be cooler. Even in the summer, sometimes when the sun goes down, it'll cool down a little bit. But that's the one item that you can wear, again, layers throughout the day. If the morning's cold, you got a little fleece, you can put it on, take it off, wrap it around you, whatever. Okay, I think that's it. So again, this is episode 3 from Tactical Retreat Unplugged of our Camino preparations. This is our equipment segment. If you're enjoying these videos, I really, really, really would enjoy if everybody would go to the bottom of this YouTube video and hit the subscribe button, and then hit the bell so you get alerts whenever we do put a new video out. We don't do a lot of videos, but I do hope that my experience on the Camino previously will help you prepare for yours or give you some new ideas, and we'll try something different. I think our next episode is all about food, so we're going to talk about the fantastic food in episode 4 that you can find in Spain. It really is crazy good, as is the wine. So for now, I'm Matthew Brandt, Tactical Retreat Unplugged. Until next time, keep walking.